Okay, I'm doing a routine go over on my Kawasaki Z400. I've just done the chain. I didn't want to bore you with the ordeal, but I use one of these zoom spout oilers. And you get these in a furnace supply, somewhere you would go to buy a furnace or parts for your furnace or air conditioner. They usually have them up on the counter. They have this long spout that can reach into those caps on electric motors in furnaces. And I saved these. I used to be an HVAC guy. And I use these to do each link on the inside of the chain, between the two side plates on this side, between the two side plates on the other side, and on one side of the roller. I'll just hold it and get like one drop on each one, and that way I don't have a big glob buildup of chain lube hanging down inside the countershaft sprocket cover. Now, look at the outside of the chain. It looks dry. Well, that will get oil on it as the chain spins. As the chain goes around, centrifugal force will carry that 90 weight. That's what I use, 90 weight oil on my chains. Plus, I've done my wood peg pivots and the pins and my side stand pivot. Don't ever sit on your bike while it's on the side stand. I've had on a venture that I had, my first venture, I had that break. I wasn't the one that was sitting on it. I bought the bike used, and one night after owning it, I owned that bike 16 years, but like on the 10th year, I was stepping off the bike and the side stand broke. And the bike came down on the back of my legs. It pushed me out of the way as it was dropping. But don't forget, and then listen for the click of your side stand switch. That goes bad if it sticks closed or it sticks, let's see. If it goes bad, it completes the circuit through the ignition switch, through the kill switch, through the ignition. If that is down, and it's stuck in the open position or the closed position, I can't figure. I'll have to think about that one. But when you go to put the bike in gear, the bike will shut off. That's a safety thing. So you got to make sure that switch is operating, and your clutch safety switch, and of course your brake light switch. They're all sort of the same. But anyway, I'm giving the bike a once over here. I've cleaned the back wheel. And since this is black, I'm going to put some carnauba wax on the gas tank, because black shows every little mark. And I'm running a magnetic tank bag. Now, the magnetic tank bags don't slide around the way that the tank bags that have the straps do. That's why I really like the magnetic bags. But you got to put a coat of wax on them every once in a while, and make sure that the bottom of your tank bag is clean, so it doesn't have any embedded particles that can scratch your paint, because of all the colors, it's black that shows all that stuff. I remember one of the big fads of the 80s and 90s was to put tank bras, not tank bras, but front end bras on cars. You know, the way tattoos and piercings are a fad today. Well, that was the fad with cars back then, to put a bra on the front of the car. That's like having a tank bag on there. the thing about those bras is, after a few years of flopping around in the wind, they wore through the paint on those cars. So that fad died out shortly after everyone kind of discovered they needed a paint job from having a protective bra on the front of their Porsche or Corvette or Camaro or Toyota or whatever. So clean the bottom of your tank bag. And what I like about these magnetic ones is the wind doesn't blow them around. Of course, you have to have them tethered. Got to figure out a way to do that. But I just wanted to get a coat of wax on there. When you're, wouldn't hurt to, let's try it, I don't know. Put a coat of wax on the windshield. I should have done this first. I'm considering just painting the windshield black. Now, if you're going to do something like that, you want to paint it on the inside. You can always paint it again on the outside, but I think painting it on the inside would make it look like a deep paint job. Like it had many coats of clear on it. I keep telling myself I'm going to do that, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. There is a stainless steel cleaner. There's these little, I forget who makes them. It's like a Brillo company or somebody like that makes little stainless steel polishing cloths. You use them once and throw them away. And I shined up my stainless exhaust, especially in the front there, the headers, and they really cleaned up. So when my wife gets home, I'm going to have to get one of those from her, because I'm going over the whole machine, tire pressures, and another little chore that should be done often. When you get bugs on your helmet, you get bugs on your face shield, that means you're getting bugs on your fork tubes. Look at them. Okay, now they're going to dry on there, and your fork seals are going to have to go over them. Now, if you ever get a bug on your windshield and you turn your wipers on and it streaks, and you can hear your windshield wiper flick, 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 flick going over that dried bug. You don't want that to be going on with your fork seals, because you'll blow a fork seal. Yeah, there's bugs on there. So if you're cleaning if you have to clean your windshield and your face shield from bugs, you also have to clean your fork tubes. Now these have these little shields on them, and I'm sure that works for a while, but I noticed that there was nothing from here down, so I don't know what the travel is on those forks, but not all bikes have these little shields here. Now, I've got almost 5,000 miles on this machine. This has the original tires, and getting down there. Yeah, definitely getting down there. They're still okay. Yeah, pretty soon. I'm not going to throw new tires on now because it's, what is this? It's the end of September, and I may buy them over the winter whenever the prices start to come down and availability goes up. Might get a better deal on eBay. but I always replace tires in sets. This is, excuse me, a 2019 machine, and I'm going to replace both of them. And I'm going to stick with this brand. Might try a different tire. I don't know. Maybe a Pirelli. Maybe something. I don't know who else makes tires for this. When you buy a motorcycle, it's. I had a Honda Pacific Coast that I commuted on for 24 years. There were only two companies that made the size tires in sets that fit that motorcycle. Metzler and Dunlop. And I was kind of stuck paying that price because there was no competition. Those tires, even though they weren't radials, they were just bias tires. I had to pay a little more for those. And I was only getting about 42 to 4,700 miles out of the tires. That sounds low, but that was commuting miles. That's constantly stopping and starting and turning the bars and stop sign to stop sign. And you know, when I would get close to work, I had to go through. I had 3 traffic lights and I think 9 stop signs. But the commuter miles through the city, that's the ones that chew up your tires, not out on the interstate, one steady speed. But anyway, and because I was a commuter, well, I always put good horns on my machines. You don't just put them on and hook them up to 12 volts. You have to run them through a relay, because the tiny little skinny wires that they have feeding the stock horn, that's why the stock horn is not very loud, because the horn itself it's made to a price. Over in Europe, I think they have louder horns. My Moto Guzzi's, they used to come with dual horns. I have horns on my Yamaha Venture right now that were stock Moto Guzzi horns. But I know that I'm not going to assume everybody understands, so I'm going to explain. Everyone else that knows this stuff, you can flip the channel, but on this machine here, there was a lot of useless space under here. Here's my jumper cables in a little sleeve here, and here's my tire pump and some spare fuses and some plug glue. This is an electric tire pump they used to sell at Walmart for $10, $9.95 or something like that, and that's what it looks like. And that fit under there. I have now I've hacked under here to make room, and I've got my 2 veteran tire plugging tools, and over there I have spare glue and more tire plugs. I like the string plugs better than the solid rubber ones, because the solid rubber ones have an Achilles heel, and that is that a steel belted tire can chew through the rubber plug and it could fail. But I wanted to open this seat. This is a Corbin seat. This was the best improvement. This and the Suzuki GSXR 600 shock off of a 2018. I thought it was a 16. It was a 2018. That goes right on. You can adjust that for spring preload, compression damping, rebound damping. The stock shock is just like a screen door damper. Just what does one thing, and it is non-adjustable except for spring preload. But that's not the shock that's adjustable, it's the spring preload adjustment on it. But for the horn, Here's my feed for the horn. That's the hot wire. I'm not going to rip the bike apart, but I'll just go through it basically. You have to go from the battery through a fuse to the horn relay. Now a horn relay has 4 numbers on it. 85, 86, 87, and 30 generally. And the 2 numbers for controlling the flow are the 2 lowest, not the 30, but the 2, 84 and 85, I think they are. Or maybe it's 85 and 86. But whatever the 80s numbers are, it's the 2 lower ones that you hook in line, in series. You plug your 2 wires that came to your original horn onto those 2 terminals. Alright, and that's just a switch. When you hit your button here, you're completing an electrical circuit from the battery through the switch to the relay, to ground. Alright, and you're closing the switch, you're completing the circuit when you hit the horn button. Alright, that pulls the electric coil inside a little horn relay in, and that makes the connection from the battery through the horns to ground. And that's a completed circuit. There's 2 electric circuits there when you're wiring in new horns. You have the circuit that controls the relay that runs through this switch right here. And then you have the circuit that, and all that the relay does is it controls the power flow from the battery through the relay to the horns, because they require more electrical pressure, more electric voltage, more amperage. You have to think of electricity the way you would think of water flowing through a hose or a pipe. The larger the wire, the larger the hose, the more water can flow through the hose. The larger the wire, the more amps can flow through the wire. And